Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever looked at your tiny garden, or maybe just a patio or balcony, and thought, man, I wish I could have a tree here? Well, you absolutely can. And today, we're going to show you exactly how. Right, let's get into it. A tree is so much more than just a big plant. It's the backbone, the absolute heart of a garden. It gives you structure, it's a home for birds and bees, and it brings beauty through every single season. It's not some luxury just for huge yards. It's a game changer for any space, no matter how small. I know, I know. You start looking, and the sheer number of options can feel totally overwhelming. It's paralyzing. But don't you worry. Think of this explainer as your personal guide. We're going to walk you right from that first spark of an idea to planting a beautiful, thriving tree that you're just going to love for years. Okay, before we get swept away by all the pretty pictures in a catalog, we have to play detective in our own backyards. It's so easy to fall in love with a tree, but asking a few key questions first is what's going to make all the difference. This is the big one. Honestly, this is the most important question you can ask. You have to think about its final height and, just as importantly, its spread. That cute little sapling can turn into a monster that overwhelms your whole garden, messes with your foundation, or gets tangled in power lines. You've got to picture the tree it's going to be in 10, even 20 years.
All right, next decision. You're basically choosing between two different personalities for your garden. Do you want something that's a constant green presence all year long? Or do you want a tree that puts on a spectacular show and changes with the seasons? Both have some serious pros and cons.
So here's the deal. On one hand, you have a deciduous tree, maybe a beautiful Japanese maple. You get that incredible fall color, and then when it drops its leaves, it lets all that precious winter sunlight into your house. On the other hand, you've got an evergreen. It gives you privacy and a solid green structure all year, but it can also cast some really dense shade. It really just comes down to what you need more. And finally, let's do a quick reality check. Be honest about your garden's conditions. How much sun does that spot actually get? Is your soil sandy, clay, or something in between? Is it a super windy corner? And what do you really want from this tree? Is it all about the flowers, the fruit, or maybe just some knockout foliage? Nailing this down now helps you pick a tree that's actually going to be happy. Okay, so we've done the homework, we've set the ground rules. Now for the really fun part. Let's explore some amazing trees that are just perfect for smaller gardens. Listen. In a small space, every single plant has to earn its keep. And these trees, they are the hardest workers in the garden. They're multitaskers that give you something beautiful in almost every season. Take the serviceberry. You get gorgeous spring flowers, berries in the summer, and unbelievable fall color. The strawberry tree is just wild. It's evergreen, but it has flowers and fruit at the same time in the fall. And the coral bark maple, that bright red bark in the dead of winter is just a showstopper. These trees pack so much punch. And here's a fantastic pro tip for a tree like that, coral bark maple. If you plant a dark green evergreen, like a yew or a boxwood, behind it, that dark backdrop makes the red bark practically glow in the winter sun. It's such a simple trick, but wow, the effect is incredible. You know, it's not all about flowers and leaves. A tree's actual shape, its silhouette, is a massive part of its personality. Is it weeping and graceful, tall and skinny, wide and spreading? That shape is going to have a huge impact on the entire feel of your garden. And you can really see what I mean here. On the left, that weeping cherry just feels so soft and romantic with those cascading branches. But on the right, that upright spruce is like a dramatic exclamation point. It's strong, it's vertical, it draws your eye up. Totally different vibes, all based on their natural shape. But what if you're sitting there thinking, I literally have no space, not even a tiny patch of dirt? Well, hold on. There are some incredibly clever horticultural tricks that let you have a tree in places you would never have dreamed possible. First off, there's container growing. This is a complete game changer, especially if you rent or you just have a balcony. You get a nice big pot, make sure it has good drainage, and you can have a beautiful tree that, get this, can actually move with you to your next home. It's the ultimate in flexibility. Have you ever seen a tiny little apple tree in a pot loaded with full-sized apples and wondered how that's even possible? Well, the secret is something called dwarfing rootstock. Think of the rootstock as the tree's engine. A desired fruit variety is literally grafted onto this special, smaller engine, which controls the final size of the tree and, as a bonus, makes it produce fruit way faster. Got a super narrow side yard or just want a tall, dramatic accent? Columnar trees are your answer. They're genetically programmed to grow up, not out. Their branches reach for the sky, giving you that height and structure without eating up precious ground space. Perfect for framing a doorway or creating a skinny privacy screen.
Now this one is really cool, espalier. It's this ancient art of training a tree, usually a fruit tree, to grow flat against a wall or a fence. It's beautiful, like living art, and it is the ultimate space-saving technique for those really tight spots.
And you know what? It's not nearly as complicated as it sounds to get started. You can create a simple V shape by just taking a young tree, cutting it back, and letting the top 3 buds grow out. You just train 2 of them out to the sides, snip the middle one, and you've officially started your very own espalier. How cool is that? Okay, you've picked the perfect tree. You've found the perfect spot. Now comes the single most critical moment in that tree's entire life: planting day. And there is one mistake that gardeners make over and over again that can ruin everything.
So, what do you think it is? Not digging the hole wide enough? Forgetting to water? I mean, those are definitely important, but nope. The number one, most common, and most fatal error is something you've probably never even thought about.
The answer is all about something called the root flare. The root flare is that spot right at the base of the trunk where it starts to widen out just before the big roots start spreading. Go look at any mature tree in a park, you'll see it. That little flare is critical because it and the roots right below it need oxygen. They need to breathe. So here's the trap. At the nursery, every time a tree gets moved up to a bigger pot, a little more soil gets piled on top, burying that root flare deeper and deeper. This means you cannot just plant your tree at the same level as the dirt in the pot. You have to get in there and gently scrape away the top layer of soil from the root ball until you find that flare. So please, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. There's an old arborist saying, plant it too high, it won't die. Plant it too low, it won't grow. You want that root flare to be sitting just slightly above the final soil level. Burying it is a slow death sentence. It leads to rot and circling roots. Exposing it is the single biggest secret to a long and healthy life for your tree.
You know, a tree becomes part of your life. It provides shade for a book on a summer day. It marks the passing of seasons. It becomes a landmark in your family's story. With the right knowledge, you can plant one with total confidence. So your perfect tree is out there waiting. What story is it going to tell in your garden?